Good, so tonight's a bit of a core challenge. Just challenge ourselves, recapping some of the challenges we've done over the past few weeks during lockdown. Good way to see if you've improved, see what you've got to work on still. So we'll just start with a little bit of a warm up, just getting ourselves warm and primed, ready for those challenges. So we'll start with the ball just tucked into our knees. A little bit of a squish down on the ball just to keep it nice and secure. And we'll start with our arms down by our side, nice breath in. Lifting our arms up above our head and breathing out, bring those arms back down, good. Just expanding those lungs out to the side, good. And just start to think about just drawing in that belly button towards your spine as you breathe in, just getting those deep abdominals engaged, woken up. Good. And I'll do 3 more. Good, and just trying to elongate your spine as well as you breathe in, getting that nice tall feeling. Good, and last one. Fabulous, good. Okay, bringing ourselves down, picking the ball up, making sure our feet are just shoulder width apart. You can point your toes out slightly if you need to. Or you just do a few squats here, just get the whole body moving. So as we bring our bum down towards the ground, lifting the ball up over our head. Breathing out as we come up. Just making sure your knees don't go over your toes. Keep that nice 90 degrees or just a little bit less than that as you get deeper in the squat. Good, breathing in on the way down, out on the way up. Good, we'll do a couple more like this and then we'll adapt it a little bit to us riders. Good, and as you come up, we're just going to walk our feet out even more. So well over shoulder width apart, but not too wide. Imagine the saddles in between us. And again, breathing in, coming down, breathing out, coming up. Pushing through the balls and the heels of our feet. If it's too tight on your hips, tuck those, or turn the toes out slightly. Good, we'll do 3 more. Imagine this your rising trot. Obviously not with the ball, but with your legs. Good. And one last one. Breathing in, coming down, breathing out, coming up. Good, just place the ball in front of you, fingertips on top, and just roll the ball out in front of you, hinging at the hips. Good, and just rocking back and forth, getting a little bit of a stretch, pulling those fingertips away. Maybe just open up your lower back slightly, get those hamstrings loosened off a little bit. Don't hold the stretch, let's keep it active. So rocking back and forth continuously. Like, you can get a bit of ankle mobility in there too, rocking back on to your heels, lift your toes up, and then as you come forward, go onto your toes, lift your heels up. And keeping that nice breathing pattern going as well. Lovely, and then just roll the ball back towards you. And gradually bring yourself up into standing. Now you should be able to just tuck the ball, if not widen your feet. Tuck the ball between our legs, but we're going to stay in standing. And we're just going to put a little pressure, a bit of pressure on the ball with our knees. Let's get those adductors firing a little bit too. And we're just going to start with our imprints. So imagine you're starting with that nice neutral spine, draw that belly button in, tucking your tailbone under, breathing in Drawing in, tucking under, breathing out, releasing. Good. Hands on your hips just gives you a little bit of feedback as to what your pelvis is doing, making sure you get that nice rocking back and forth. Tucking under. Good. Trying to keep nice even pressure on the ball as well. A good little challenge to do. Making sure one knee doesn't come off before the other. You're keeping that nice even pressure. Keeping that nice shoulders over hips. Alignment as well. Good. If you can feel what your pelvis is doing, you can bring your hands out as if you're riding. Don't always have to use your hands once you get the feel of what your pelvis should be doing. Let's try and use our body to give us feedback and not necessarily our hands or our eyes. Good. Couple more. Keeping that even pressure, not putting more pressure on as you tuck under. Good, and last one. Fabulous. Just release the pressure, but keep your feet where they are. We're going to grab the ball. Just have our elbows at 90 degrees. Shoulders over hips, over ankles. A light soft bend in our knees. We're going to breathe in, and then as we breathe out, we're going to rotate round to the side, keeping our hip points, those bony points of our pelvis pointing forwards. So we're getting that nice rotation through our upper back. Also solid from our pelvis downwards. Lovely. Breathing out, rotating around to the side, breathing into centre. Good. Still thinking about drawing that belly button in. Getting that nice control, feeling strong through your core. Not just letting your body go around to the side. And think about what our knees are doing as well. As you turn around to one side, the opposite knee, keep that nice and strong. So you're squeezing through your glutes, not letting it collapse inwards. Good, we'll do two more each side. And then we'll get on to the challenges. And last one. Fabulous. Coming back to centre, we're going to pop the ball down and we're going to come into sitting. Good, so we're sitting on the ball. Feet are hip bone distance apart. Like always, thinking about our posture, shoulders over hips. Draw that belly button in. Hands, I don't want your hands by the ball because that's a bit of a cheat. Hands up above, holding the reins. And I think some of you, Emily, just see how you go with just lifting your heel up to start with, but I think the other shoe should be able to just lift your foot off the ground. And here, making sure you got that nice posture with your eyes open, we're going to close our eyes. Trying to keep that nice posture with our eyes closed. So you're really homing into those muscles that we really need to fire. Don't forget to breathe. Looking good. If you find that the leg that you've got on the floor, if that hip's coming out to the side, the other hip between your hip bone and your ribs, try and pinch that together and squeeze the glute that's on the leg that's on the floor. Good. Getting that nice even pressure through your sit bones. Lovely. Pop that leg back down and we'll go to the other one. Don't be afraid, Emily, if you want to lift your foot off of the floor. But as this is fairly new, I always get people to start with the heel off the ground. Good. So again, the same with this side. Lifting that leg up if you can, or your heel. Once you've got that steady posture, close your eyes. And breathe. If you're finding it hard, don't forget to breathe. You often tense up if you hold your breath, and then it all goes to pot anyway. Good, keeping that nice evenness through your seat bones. Really focus on those muscles that need to work, so our glutes, that between our hips and our rib cage. Lovely. We'll just switch sides. Do it again on each side. Just gives our hip flexors a little bit of a break. Switching. Lovely. Keeping that shoulder over hip. Quite easy to lean back and hold that posture using our hip flexors. That's a bit of a cop out. And then our hip flexors get really tight. Focus on those muscles that we need when we're riding. Squeezing that glute that's on the floor. A little bit of engagement through our deep abdominals. We don't want a tight engagement, otherwise we get rigid. Closing your eyes once you've got that nice posture. There you go, feeling tall through your spine. So many little things to think about. Lovely. Let's switch sides one more time. And often helping yourself breathe lets you just relax a little bit as well. I think lockdown work is paying off. You're looking pretty good. But I can't see your eyes. I'm hoping you've got them closed. Good stuff. Right, let's pop that leg down. We're going to come off the ball. We'll come back down, but we're going to sit astride. So legs either side of the ball. If you can, with your knees, bring them below so your toes are just tucked up behind. We're into more of a dressage position here. Good. Thinking about our posture. Shoulders over hips. Almost tucking our tailbone under slightly so we get that nice solid core here. All right, we're going to bring our arms out in front of us. Take a nice breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to close our eyes. And one arm's going to come behind us. We're going to twist around. Breathing into center, keeping the eyes closed, and then back round to the other side. Good. Now, as you're doing that, are you feeling that you're squeezing through the ball to keep your balance? Try and relax those legs. Especially the inside here. Really focus on using your core. To help you move around. So we're using our core with movement here. If you're really struggling with your eyes closed, you can open your eyes, of course. If that helps you to avoid squeezing in through your adductors here. You want that deeper seat feeling when we're in the saddle, and this is going to help it. Good. Not forgetting to breathe also. Let your hips relax, use your core. Good, we'll do one more each side. Good stuff. And bring those arms back down. Rest those arms. Good. And we'll come off the ball. We'll come into one of my favourite exercises we've done a few times. So tucking the ball into your shins. Putting that nice downward pressure on the ball. Fingers, hands on top. And you're going to roll forward till you're on your tippy toes. And then just a little bit more. So your toes come off the ground. So we're into a nice 4-point kneeling here. So again, with challenges, if this is enough for you to even just try and balance on the ball with your 4 points, stick with this. The rest of you know the next stage, lifting your arm up, alternating each arm. Good. And again, the trick here is not to be rigid through your spine, or through your whole body really. To engage it, but not fully, so you can move and adjust to what the ball's doing in relation to your balance. Good. Once you've done that a few times and you want to come up into your kneeling, you can. Making sure we don't use our toes at the back to grip onto the ball. Just have a little check. Good, and if you are coming into kneeling, again, just make sure you don't go rigid. That's where you end up rolling backwards or forwards. Just to free up your core just slightly. There you go. Looking good, Emily. See if we can just slightly just lift one hand up. There we go. Good, Joe. I think your tendency is to roll backwards as soon as you lift your hand off the ball. So try and keep those knees a little bit forward, because that's taking your centre of pressure. That's where your centre of gravity is. Nice. Tina and Anna, let's bring in a little bit of arm movement. So arms up to the side, and back down again. Don't be afraid to go in front with your arms. Good. Don't forget to breathe, Joe. Relax. Get your balance first before you even start to think about lifting your arms up. And don't forget to free up those fingertips, those arms. You kind of have to push your weight through the ball, through your knees. So I think when you lift your hand up, Joe, you just automatically want to throw your knees backwards instead of putting almost hip pressure through your knees. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's better. You'll get it, it's something to practice. Nice, guys. And when you're ready, give it one more go, Joe, and then we'll just roll off the ball. Yes. You get a better control each time you pop your arm down. It's just about putting that pressure through your hips, through your knees, instead of throwing your knees backwards, because then you really go off balance. Good. So just a little breather. If you want to roll out, hinge at your hips, just get a little bit of a stretch, a little break for a few seconds. Yes, and again, making it just active, so you're rocking back and forth and not holding it. We'll do some nice stretches at the end. Lovely. And then rolling yourself back up. Good. So make sure you've got plenty of room in front of you. Come down into kneeling and with the ball in front. And then we're going to roll. Or bring our top body on top of the ball and then roll. Walk our hands forward. So the ball, to start with, is almost under your front of the thighs. To make it harder, the ball rolls backwards underneath towards your feet. Good. So nice belly button in, nice strong core. We're going to put downward pressure on the ball with that left leg, bringing our right leg up, and then just alternating, pushing that right leg down with the ball, lifting our left leg up, squeezing through our glutes as we do. Hello, dog. Can you go in your bed? Can you go in your bed? Or can you lay down there or something out of the way? Good boy, lay down. Good. So we're almost bringing the leg, we're putting pressure down to the middle just to keep our balance. Good. If you need a break, by all means roll backwards. Just flop over the ball. Good. Making it harder though, we're rolling the ball back or walking forwards a little bit so the ball's further back over our shins, over our knees, over our toes. Lovely. One more each leg. If you're there. Good. Just roll yourself back slowly. Back into your kneeling and just let your body just fall over the ball. Just stretch off that back. Good. So a bit of a strength on that one. Getting the core strong. Allowing your legs to move. Keeping your balance. A bit of a triple whammy, that one. Good. Lovely, and then we're going to come off the ball. Still keeping kneeling, but we're going to turn and face with the ball to the side here. We're going to put pressure down through the hips onto the ball. Make sure that arm supporting you's got a nice wrap on the ball. We're going to bring one leg out straight and then we're going to follow it with that bottom leg, but the bottom leg's going to come in front. Perfect. So we'll start with our arm wrap around the ball, just gives us a little bit of security here. Top arm up and over, and we're going to almost wrap our side of our body round the ball here. Take a nice breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to almost squeeze shoulder towards our top hip, bringing our arm up. Good. Breathing out, coming up. in, coming down. Good. And the arm that we've got wrapped around the ball, just try and make that a nice light pressure if you can. So we're having to use our core. If you can, arms come up off the ball. That's the challenge. Yeah, good. So we're really working into that, what we call quadratus lumborum, nice muscle here that we use, often quite weak, especially if we're slipping out, collapsing through one hip. And just make sure our pelvis is not rocking back or forwards. So that hip bone, that bony point's pointing directly forwards, not upwards towards the ceiling or down towards the ground. Lovely. 2 more. And last one. Good. Bending that bottom leg, bringing yourself back into kneeling, and we'll just roll around the ball to the other side. Ball into our hips. Hips into the ball, straighten our top leg. Good. And then that bottom leg goes in front. Good, wrapping our hand round, top arm over to start with, wrapping our side around the ball, breathing in, breathing out, bringing our shoulder towards our hip. Lovely. And like the other side, trying to make a nice light pressure with the ball with our hand that's around the ball. And if you can, with your arms up straight, I struggle on this side, so you found a little bit of weakness. Lift that bottom arm straight. Lovely. Good, breathing out, coming up, breathing in, coming down. Even I found something to work on now. Good. 2 more. Really squeezing your shoulder towards your hip. Really getting that muscle working, activating. Lovely, last one. Good, let's bend the bottom knee and bring ourselves back into kneeling. Good, we'll just pop the ball to the side for the second. We'll do a couple without the ball. So if we come into side lying, I'll just change that so you can see what I'm doing. Good. There's 2 variations you can do for this one. We're going to start on our elbow, and you can start on your knees for this one. We're going to lift our hips up, so we come into a nice side plank, and top arm comes up nice and straight. Taking a nice breath in. We're going to breathe out. We're going to loop or thread that top arm through the bottom gap, bringing our shoulder down towards the ground and back up. So we get a nice twist. Staying strong through your shoulder, so you're pushing up through your elbow. Don't let that shoulder collapse. Good. And the second option, or a harder option, is to come into a full side plank on your toes, on your feet. Lifting those knees up off the floor. Breathing out, going round. Breathing in, bringing that arm up. Lovely. Good, 2 more. And last one. Good stuff. Bring those hips down. Let's challenge ourselves on the other side. Quite a hard exercise, quite a lot of strength required for this, so you're doing really well. So same principle on this side, on your elbow, pushing up so your shoulder's nice and strong. Bringing your hips off the floor, top arm up, nice and straight. Breathing out, threading that hand through, getting that twist through your body. And then back up as you breathe it in. Keeping those hips up off the floor in that nice side plank. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself, coming into that full side plank. Lifting those knees off the ground. Lovely, 2 more. And last one, keeping those shoulders nice and strong. Good stuff. Lovely, let's stick on that side, but we'll bring our shoulder down towards the ground, head in our hand or resting on our bicep. Doesn't matter. Good. Onto those favourite clams. So knees bent and feet together, but we're going to lift our feet up off the ground. Hands on hip if you need a little bit of feedback as to what your pelvis is doing, so making sure that hip bone doesn't point down towards the ground. Pointing forward, breathing out, lifting our knee up, keeping those feet together. Good. So you're probably thinking, we do this every day, why is this a challenge? Well, you'll find out in a minute. Good, breathing out, lifting that knee up, breathing in. As the knee comes down, making a nice, smooth, slow, controlled movement. Lovely. Keeping that nice breathing pattern going, you're all looking nice and smooth, controlled, which is great. Should maybe start to feel a little bit of a burn in that top glute. So we'll do 2 more of this exercise. And on the last one, we're going to keep our knee up. We're going to drop our bottom leg and we're going to keep going with the clams. We're going to go with that nice twisting one. So keeping your knee still, we're going to rotate through our hip. So it looks like we're bringing our foot up and down. Actually, we're rotating through the hip. Keeping the knee nice and still. Yeah, good. And just time your breathing with the movement. So it doesn't matter which way. Breathing out, breathing in. On each direction, each rotation. Good. Just challenging that glute med, that one that really controls our rotation. Good, we'll do 2 more. And last one, good, rest that knee on the ground. Good, a couple of breaths and then we'll rotate onto our other side. When you're ready. Head in your hand or head on the floor, it doesn't matter. Good, and we'll start with our knees together, feet upwards, into that nice clam, keeping our feet together, opening up through our knees. Breathing out, lifting our knee up. Breathing in as it comes down. You might feel a difference between each side. One might tire a little bit quicker than the other. You might just highlight which one's a little bit weaker. Good. Keeping that nice controlled movement like you did on the other side. Two more. Good stuff. On this last one, we're going to hold our knee up, drop our bottom leg, keeping our knee nice and still, rotating through the hip. Our foot comes up and down. Nice. Keeping that hip bone pointing forward, making the movement from our hip and not our pelvis. Good stuff. Keep driving through that little bit of a burn. It's going to do you good. Last 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. Rest that knee on the ground. Pat it out, fit it out, whatever you need to do. Good stuff. Right, we'll come on to the last challenge of the day. We need our ball for this one. Before we just do a couple of stretches to loosen off slightly. So we'll come into lion and we're going to bring the ball out in front of us with our heels on the ball, legs straight, arms down by our side, palms facing upwards. Good, and we're going to bring our toes pointing up towards the ceiling and just make sure they keep pointing towards the ceiling. If you find at any point that your toe is going to point outwards, remind yourself to bring that foot up towards the sky. Good, so we're going to start with that imprint. Draw that belly button in, push that lower back into the ground, and then we're going to lift our hips off the floor into our nice straight bridge. And we're going to hold it at the top here. If you're wobbling, if that's enough of a challenge for you, keep with this. If not, bring your hands off, so your elbows on the ground, or if you can, bring your arms straight up. Keeping your breathing going. Allowing your core to adjust itself to keep those legs right on top of the ball. Lovely, and then bring those hips down towards the ground. Ease those hamstrings off slightly before we do it again, so roll the ball to you and away from you. Good stuff. Perfect, let's straighten those legs again. Now, however you ended the last one, so whether you ended with your arms up or elbows on the ground, I want you to start like that. So starting with your imprint, drawing that belly button in, pushing your lower back in, lifting those hips up off the ground, keeping those toes pointing towards the ceiling. Keeping those hips nice and high if we can. Breathing in and out. Lovely, keeping that nice, strong posture, but allowing your body to move. Feeling it through your hamstrings to your glutes. Yes, and then just slowly bring those hips down towards the ground. Lovely. And again, just rolling the ball to and away from you. Ease those hamstrings off. If you like, you can do the one where we open up our knees so we get a nice rotation through our hip. So bring the ball, roll the ball towards you, then open up your knees, roll the ball away, bring those toes towards the top again. Good. Good. And then in your own time, we'll just bring ourselves up into sitting. And we'll bring the ball out in front of us. Yeah, just stretch off those hamstrings. A little bit through our sides that we've used quite hard today. I think Anna's there already, she knows what we're doing. Rolling the ball forward, fingertips on top, walking it forward. Almost just trying to bring your chest a little bit towards the ground. Taking a nice breath in, and as you breathe out, relax that tension, release the tension from around your hips. If you're finding it hard to sit up straight, it's time to put a cushion underneath your bum. But if not, don't worry, continue as you are. And breathing out, it's time to relax, time to really push that flexibility through those hamstrings. Good, and just rolling the ball towards you. And we'll emphasize one side, so let's go to the left, rolling the ball alongside our left leg. Almost keeping that right hand on top of the ball, so we get that stretch through the lats, through the right side of our body. And again, breathing out, almost trying to get your upper body to relax into that stretch. Don't let your hips tense up. If you're shaking a little bit with this, just ease off the stretch slightly. Good, and roll the ball back towards the middle, and we'll go to the right side now. Keeping that left hand on top of the ball. In a stretch through the left side of our lats. Breathe out, letting that upper body relax. Fold over. Lovely, walking the ball back in. We'll just pop the ball to the side. Get that nice tall feeling through your spine, and we'll roll forward. We'll walk our hands forward. Just see if you can get a little bit deeper, a little bit more without the ball. Again, just folding at your hips, not letting yourself shake or tense up too much through the hips. Use your breathing to relax into it. Just a couple of breaths. Lovely, and then just walk yourself back up into your sitting. Fabulous, guys. Looking really good. I'll have to think of more challenges to do.